There's only one company in the world daring enough to tear down one of its iconic buildings and then transform it into a public park. And that company is Sony. Sony's famous building in Tokyo's Ginza district is currently in its reconstruction phase. While most companies cling to their prime real estate, Sony's out-of-the-box thinking and their bold architects brought a visionary idea to life. They turned this space into a public park. Now, you might be wondering, why even turn a corporate building into a green space? What were the reasons behind this? And what lies in the future? We will answer these questions today and take you on a tour of the iconic Ginza Sony Park. Before we delve deeper into the world of Ginza Sony Park's evolution, ensure you stay connected and subscribe for more great videos like this. Ginza is one of those places in Tokyo that perfectly blends the old with the new. It's known for its trendy vibe, with streets lined with shops that have been around for over 100 years, alongside modern department stores and luxury boutiques. Right in the middle of all this was the Sony building. The famous Sony building first opened its doors on April 29, 1966. It is located at the Tsukiyabashi crossing and is directly connected to the Ginza subway station. With its prime location and great reputation around the world, the Sony building was more than just an office block. It was designed by the Japanese architect Yoshinobu Ashihara, who made the building into some kind of postmodern architecture that made the building famous around the world. Inside, the building was just as impressive. The main showroom was set up over split-level floors going up to the 6th. One of the coolest features was Sony Square, which was a small open area at the intersection where people could watch performances and see displays of new products. In 1992, the building underwent a major renovation. Everything was refreshed to look as good as new. The exterior louvers and tiles were replaced, and the small square was updated along with the installation of new entrance doors. However, by March 31st, 2017, the owners decided it was time for a change. The Sony building closed down and was demolished the same year to make way for a new project. Sony have a motto stating, "Do what others don't do," with this slogan being perfect when they launched the Walkman. The Walkman created a new experience of listening to music outside instead of listening to music inside like everyone else. And following this motto, Sony decided not to immediately reconstruct the Sony building and instead came up with a very radical proposition. Sony had the visionary idea of turning the space into something that everyone could enjoy and thought, why not turn the whole construction site into a park? Yeah, a park. Instead of a boring old construction site, they created a chill spot where anyone could hang out and take a break from the city hustle. It is pretty genius, turning a pile of rubble into a cool green space for everyone to enjoy. And so, the Ginza Sony Park was born in 2018. From 2018 to 2021, that space turned into a spot for relaxation and cultural fun, right in the middle of Tokyo. There were exhibitions, live musics, and a vibe in this spot that attracted over 8.5 million visitors. And that too at the time when the rest of the world was fighting with COVID-19. The brains behind this were none other than Morita Akio, one of Sony's founding fathers, and Yoshinobu Ashihara, the architect who originally designed the Sony building. These two dreamed up a building that could be a space that welcomed everyone. The crown jewel of their plan was the famous Sony Square. It is a 33 square meter slice of public space right at Tsukiyabashi crossing, which Morita used to call the Garden in Ginza. This nickname gave them the idea, and they converted this space into literally a garden in Ginza. When Ginza Sony Park first opened, it did not have the usual park fixtures like tables and benches. Instead, it featured plants encircled by concrete forms, resembling curbstones. It was intentionally designed for dual purposes. First of all, they served as planters, and second, they also became impromptu seating areas. This minimalist approach invited visitors to get creative with the space. Without traditional seating, people began to use those concrete edges as spots to sit, relax, and enjoy the surroundings. Sony's big idea was to give people a spot to sit and catch their breath. True, but they also wanted to change the flow of Ginza itself. Think about it. You're out shopping, your feet are killing you, and guess what? There's a park right over there. You take a break, recharge, and you're ready to walk again. It is a simple concept, but it is also a win-win situation. It was a genius move for Sony because by transforming a construction site into a public park, they kept their name on everyone's lips. They enhanced their reputation as a company that thinks outside the box. In the upper part of Ginza Sony Park, there was a cool feature called the Buyable Park concept. This meant all the plants you see around, big or small, were for sale. It was designed so the park could often change looks. The plants sat in big, easy-to-move pots, making it simple for anyone to buy and take them home. You could find all sorts of plants here, from tall Chinese ginkgo biloba trees to Argentina Buchai yatai palms and soft feathery Dicksonia antarctica ferns. This setup kept the park looking fresh and also lets visitors have a fun, interactive experience by picking out a plant to bring home to their space. But it was not just a park. There were also other sections in the basement. Beneath the area, Sony set up a roller skating rink and used the area from everything from art shows to sports events. And get this, for the first year they kept the park completely free of any Sony product showcases. They wanted it recognized first and foremost as a park, not an extended showroom. The strategy was spot on. The park drew diverse crowds. Half the people were just passing by or popping in for a quick break. The other half were there for the events. Another incredible detail about this area is that it is right next to the subway station and an underground parking lot. This way, the park was already a part of Ginza's daily rhythm. But Ginza Sony Park isn't the only Sony Park in Ginza, as there is a little brother, Sony Park Mini. Sony Park Mini is a new spot that opened in 2022. It is located on the first basement floor of the Nishi Ginza parking lot, right next to Ginza Sony Park. This space is small. It is just 33 square meters. Despite its size, the Sony Park Mini has great potential. The whole idea behind this little space is to keep changing what's happening inside. One day you might walk in to see an art show, and the next day there could be a short film playing. They also have these pop-up stores that show up for a little while, offering something unique, and then make room for something new. This flexibility is what makes Sony Park Mini stand out. While the larger Ginza Sony Park has a more permanent and traditional setup that is harder to copy in other places, Sony Park Mini is like a quick change artist. It is designed to easily switch up its look and feel, and the concept could even be set up in other cities without much problem. The size is not just a random choice. It links back to the original Ginza Sony Park, which started with the same sized area called the Garden of Ginza. This smaller size is great for young creators. It is less intimidating than a huge space, making it easier for them to experiment and bring their ideas to life. And it turns out when you have a great idea like this, people notice. Sony Park Mini and its related projects have grabbed a lot of attention and praise. For example, the larger Ginza Sony Park won several design awards, including the Good Design Gold Award in 2019 and the Gold Award at the IF Design Award in 2020. Even more, the Sony Park exhibition in Kyoto, held in 2022, won a design award at the IF Design Awards 2024 and the Gold Award at the Kukan Design Award 2023. These awards show that the architects behind Sony Park Mini and the other Sony parks are doing something really special. They are creating spaces that are innovative and inviting, changing how we think about public spaces in cities. Now, let's talk about the future construction plans. Ginza Sony Park is now in its final phase of construction with their new building on the site that will inherit this concept of public space. And even during this construction phase, Sony still has brightened up the days of the passerby by installing a 50-metre art wall on the temporary enclosure around the site. Local artists with close ties to Ginza Sony Park were invited to decorate the construction fencing so visitors can further enjoy the Ginza experience. The building is planned to be completed by the end of 2024. Sony are keeping the details of this new building close to their chest, but it will feature an upper park that rises above the ground. The lower park and the ground level will largely remain the same. We cannot wait to see what they cook up for this new space. It is sure to be amazing. What do you think of Ginza Sony Park? Share your opinions with us in the comments below. And before you go, make sure to like, share and subscribe for more amazing content. See you in the next one.